Sorry about that. I was trying to get the screen to flip around. My name is Heather. For those of you who are new to my little podcasts or whatever they're called, scope casts. um, yeah, and so welcome. I'm excited to be here and to share with you. I'm a little bit newer to Periscope, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's a little disconcerting knowing you're live and you can't edit these things, but that's what makes them authentic, right? So anyways, today I am excited to share with you a little bit about something that God has put on my heart to share, something, a life lesson, so to speak, that I have learned and has really stuck with me for several years now, and something that is rather simple in concept, but has really been transforming in my own life. And so I'm excited to share that with you. Like I said, my name is Heather. I'm the mom of 3 precious little babes, and although they're not so little anymore, 9, 6, and 4. So they make things crazy around here, but it's definitely fun. I homeschool them, so I apologize if there's any interruptions. They're supposed to be entertained at the moment, but you know how that goes. Till mom gets on the phone, and then all of a sudden someone needs something. So anyways, today I wanted to talk to you about perspective. And that's a interesting word when you think about it. I know we talk a lot about perspective in art. Like, you can view something completely different than the artist's perspective and the way that they created it to be versus the way you see it. Because we're all created differently, sometimes we all view things differently, and that's okay. But I specifically want to talk about perspective when we are going through a difficult season in our life. And I, for one, learned something kind of life transforming when I went through a season that forced me to change my perspective. So years ago, gosh, how long? That was probably about 8 years ago now. Have been battling cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. I've been battling that off and on for the last 15 years. And at this particular time in my life, it was more of a big battle. I was kind of in the thick of it. The cancer had been coming back very frequently. I was a new mom, and excited about that, especially if you've heard my past cast that I've done. Quick little tidbit about that is I was told, because I had cancer originally when I was 16, I was told I would never have kids, but God decided to bless me with 3 babes of my own, and so that was such a great blessing to me. So this was my first baby. I was so excited to be a new mom, and then 3 months after she was born, I was hit with the news that my cancer had returned. So her entire first year of life, I was in and out of the hospital, had treatments at the wazoo, had surgeries. So there were many days that I couldn't even hold her because I was in so much pain and physically could not take care of her. So there were people in and out of our home helping to take care of our daughter and help take care of me as well. And it was just a really hard season in life, and one that just was so frustrating. It was really hard to get up every day knowing what I was facing that next day. Even though I knew in the back of my mind that season was temporary and that I would heal and life would move on. Sometimes when you're in the thick of that, though, you really struggle to see that clearly. It's hard to look past your own suffering and your own pain in those moments. And this particular moment that I was having one day, I was in my bed. My mom was living with us at the time, taking care of Savannah in the other room, and I can just remember being at my wit's end. I was done. I didn't want to fight this battle anymore. I was exhausted physically, mentally, spiritually. I was done. I literally remember throwing my hands up and saying, God, I'm done. I'm done. I want you to take me right now because I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I am too tired. I'm too exhausted. Take me now. I was literally asking God to die. I was so deep in my pit that I could not see a way out other than death at that point. That's a fairly low moment, probably the lowest moment I've ever had in my life. But it was in that moment that I heard the most audible voice of God that I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was almost as if he took a 2x4 and hit it upside my head and said, I am not done with you yet. I was taken aback when I literally heard that. It was as if it was just spoken deep inside of my soul. I am not done with you yet. And it was in that moment that I realized that my perspective was wrong. I was so focused on me and my pain and my suffering and woe is me that I lost sight of what I was there for. That I am here to bring glory to God. I am here to let him write my story. It's his determination of when I leave this earth or how long I'm here, not mine. And it was in that moment that everything changed for me. I changed my perspective and everything else changed. My circumstances didn't change, but all of a sudden everything looked new to me. And I was the most revived, refreshed that I had been in such a long time. When our perspective is so self-focused, we can lose sight of our mission, of our path, of anything. When our focus and our perspective is on Christ and is on the cross and it is pointed to that, when we are looking through that lens, then we can see things more clearly. We can see the bigger picture, see it, even though we don't always know what's coming. We know there's a bigger picture. We know that God has a bigger plan and that we have to trust in that. And that takes a certain amount of faith. But I'm here to tell you that perspective changes everything. When you stop looking through the lens of yourself and you start looking through the lens of the cross, then everything changes for you. And it's in those moments that when we start thinking about, reflecting about things that we're thankful for or that God has brought us through, or, you know, the whole, what's the old saying, having an attitude of gratitude, that will help point your perspective and point your focus in the right direction, and that will change everything as well. Now for me, something that helps me to refocus and get my perspective correct is music. I love music. I love to sing. I love to play piano. I love to listen to music, you know, any type of music, well, almost any type of music, really. I have a fairly eclectic taste, but in these dark moments, my favorite type of music is worship music. And one of the songs that particularly has caught my eye lately, or ear, I should say, is the song It Is Well by Bethel Music. Christine DeMarco has done it. And if you haven't heard the song, I encourage you to YouTube it. It is a phenomenal song. It talks about, the chorus says this: through it all, my eyes are on you. Through it all, it is well. And talks about just keeping our focus on Christ. And when our focus is on Christ, our spirit says, it is well. That's based off of the hymn, the old hymn, It Is Well. And if you've ever looked up the history, or if you haven't looked up the history of that song, I encourage you to do so. The author, his name is eluding me at the moment, that wrote that song basically had lost everything. They had lost a son to, I think it was scarlet fever or some horrible disease back then. Hey Mandy, so glad you could join me. Sorry, I'm actually almost done with this. I kind of talk fast, so these posts tend to be fairly quick, but hopefully you can go back and listen to what I had said before. We're talking about perspective today and how that can change everything for us. And anyways, I'm talking about a song now called It Is Well by Bethel Music, and just how much that has really touched my soul and helps us to remember that our focus, when it's on Christ, our soul can literally say it as well, no matter what we are going through. I know, fabulous song, right? And so anyways, I was talking about the original It Is Well hymn, and if you've never read the history behind it, you should, because it is just amazing. I lead worship at our church on occasion, and I did this song recently, and I read the history behind it, and it is amazing. It will totally change your perspective on the song. But this guy, he lost everything. He lost a child. They lost all of their real estate investments in the Great Chicago Fire. And then he sent his family on holiday. He had 4 daughters, I believe, and his wife left, and sent them on a ship ahead because he got delayed, and the ship sank on the way over there, and their wife was the only survivor, and they lost all of their children. And when he was passing over those waters, right where the ship sank, that's where he penned that song. So for someone who has lost everything, to be able to say, "It is well with my soul," he had his focus and his perspective in the right place. It was on the cross. It wasn't on himself. And so if we can remove our perspective from our own suffering and our own whatever it is we're going through, if we take it off of ourselves and we put it on Jesus and put it on the cross, that will change everything for us. It's all about perspective. It won't necessarily change your circumstances, but it will change your perspective, and that will make everything look different. And in those moments, when you can have that perspective, when you can have that focus on Christ, that will bring the glory to him that is due. Because y'all, we are created to bring him glory. That's why we're here. That's our purpose. That's why we were created, to bring the artist the glory that he ever so deserves. So I hope that brings you a little bit of encouragement today, and to know that, friends, you are not alone when you are going through your suffering. We all have different paths that have been given to us, but when our perspective changes, then it will change everything. And you can definitely, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Anyways, I hope that brings you encouragement. I hope that you are blessed by that. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much. Have a blessed day.